having fun. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
Now the question is simple. Does chaos break control, or does discipline suffocate danger? Teofimo promises punishment. Shakur promises frustration. One walks out proven right, the other rewritten by reality. If this fight delivers half the tension it promises, boxing fans are about to witness something unforgettable. This was a declaration of war because the moment Teofimo Lopez leaned into the microphone and promised he would punish Shakur Stevenson, the temperature in the room shifted from promotional theater to something far more personal, far more dangerous.
They kept don't matter. Protection program. Money talk, walk. Money talk. Yeah. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas somewhere, having a coquito.
Because Teofimo didn't sound like a man selling a fight. He sounded like a man defending his entire identity, his belt, his legacy, and his pride. And that's what made this warning feel different. Because Lopez wasn't yelling for attention. He was speaking from a place of raw conviction. The kind forged through years of being doubted, dismissed, and written off. The second momentum slipped, and he made it crystal clear that anyone underestimating him is volunteering to learn a painful lesson the hard way. Because Teofimo thrives in chaos.
In the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened. Things of that nature. Just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the bike.
Breathes when the odds turn against him, and becomes most dangerous when the narrative says he's already lost. And that belt on his shoulder isn't just hardware. It's proof of survival, proof of struggle, proof that he clawed his way here when nobody was handing him out favors. And that's why his mindset going into this fight feels almost combustible. Because this isn't about technique alone, it's about protecting something sacred. And when Teofimo talks about punishment, he's not just talking about punches, he's talking about making a statement, silencing critics, and reminding the boxing world that counting him out has consequences. And the irony is that across the stage sits Shakur Stevenson, calm, composed, unbothered, watching the storm rage without stepping into it. Because Shakur doesn't respond to noise, he studies it. And that contrast is exactly why this matchup has turned into a psychological thriller disguised as a boxing match.
Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Tio in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Tio can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Tio, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Tio comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Tio looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Tio is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where, he doesn't have this Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him act.
Because while Teofimo feeds off emotion, Shakur feeds off control. And the more intense Lopez becomes, the more convinced Stevenson looks that he's already living rent-free inside his opponent's head. And Shakur's motivation for this fight isn't rooted in anger or ego. It's rooted in curiosity. The same curiosity that's driven him his entire career. The desire to test himself against the most dangerous styles available. Because Shakur has never chased easy wins. He's chased answers. And Teofimo's explosive, flashy, unpredictable approach reminded him of a young Roy Jones Jr., the kind of fighter who breaks rhythm, bends rules, and dares you to keep up. And that comparison didn't intimidate Shakur, it challenged him, because Stevenson believes the best way to prove greatness isn't by avoiding danger, but by stepping straight into it with intelligence and patience. And that's where the tension sharpens, because Teofimo,
you know, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth, and then saying, I want to fight him. It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in the ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development, because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like...
believes intimidation wins fights early, while Shakur believes patience wins them late. And this fight is widely expected to stretch the full 12 rounds, with the first half quietly deciding everything, because Shakur has no intention of rushing, no intention of engaging early, no intention of giving Teofimo the explosive moments he feeds on, instead choosing to operate off the back foot, observe patterns, steal information, and slowly dismantle confidence. And that's dangerous for a fighter like Lopez, who is often described as a frontrunner, someone who looks unstoppable when momentum is flowing, but visibly frustrated when it isn't. Because Teofimo's biggest weakness has never been skill, it's timing. And when opponents refuse to stand still, refuse to give him targets, refuse to play his game, he starts chasing, lunging, forcing moments that aren't there. And that's exactly where Shakur believes he can break him. Not with power, but with absence, with movement, with denial.
Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. this is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit? When you look at the strategy, yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say.
I mean,
yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to kind of to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out.
With the slow realization that nothing is landing clean, nothing feels right, and every round is slipping away quietly. And yet, dismissing Teofimo would be reckless. Because if Lopez wins the early rounds decisively, if he forces Shakur to abandon patience and open up sooner than planned, this fight could flip violently into something chaotic, competitive, and dangerous because Teofimo, at his best, is a momentum monster, capable of turning one exchange into a psychological avalanche. And that's why so many insiders see this as a true 50-50 fight, entirely dependent on which version of Lopez shows up. Because the disciplined, patient Teofimo, who fought Lomachenko, is a nightmare for anyone, including Shakur. But the impatient, emotionally reactive Teofimo plays directly into Stevenson's hands. And hovering over all of this is the larger significance of the matchup, because voices like Chris Algieri have made it clear that fights like this are the lifeblood of boxing, the kind where elite fighters risk everything instead of protecting records, the kind that prioritize skill, strategy, and intelligence over cheap volume and manufactured hype. And for Shakur, a win here would push him firmly into pound-for-pound conversations, solidifying him among the sport's elite. While for Teofimo, victory would be a thunderous reminder that chaos still has a place in boxing's highest levels, that discipline doesn't always smother explosion, and that punishment can be both physical and symbolic.
Very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. Then both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like, Shakur fight's totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but
that's why this press conference moment matters so much. because it wasn't empty bravado. It was a line drawn in the sand, two philosophies staring each other down, one promising punishment, the other promising frustration. And when the bell finally rings, only one of those promises can be kept. Because this isn't just a fight, it's a referendum on how greatness is built. Through control or combustion, patience or pressure, silence or storm. And the scariest part is that both men genuinely believe they're right. And that's where we leave it. One man fueled by fire, the other by precision. Teofimo vows punishment. Shakur trusts patience. When the bell rings, words disappear and truth takes over. Drop your prediction below, hit like, subscribe, and get ready. Because this fight isn't just happening, it's about to answer everything.